Hey everybody, welcome to Hilltop Machine Works.
Well, hey guys, it's Tom here, and we are back in the shop for another project. But first off, I want to say hello to all my new subscribers, and thanks for coming over to the channel. If you are referred to from another channel, I appreciate that. And if you just found me by mistake, well, hey, hang out. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. And to all my old subscribers, I appreciate you guys still hanging with me. So, just got wrapped up on the Boyer-Schultz surface grinder. I hope you guys enjoyed that video series. It's nice to get that old girl making sparks again. You know, it's been sitting over there for a couple years, and it was on the to-do list. I could just never get to it. So I am glad that it is done, and as you can see, I've got my welding table back, so we can start on a new project. I've got a small window, and I've been gathering parts for this project, and I figured, hey, at least we can get started on it before I've got to get on this other project that just kind of walked in the door yesterday. So let me turn the camera around and get over to the welding table and show you what we got for this video. So what you're looking at is our new project, and what I want to do is, let me turn you guys around, and so I want to make a lamp like this, but I want to make it out of car parts. So I got this lamp, believe it or not, back in 1983. I bought it to take to college my freshman year. It sat on my desk all those years, and actually it still works fine. Matter of fact, I just put a new bulb in it after, what is that, about 30 some years. So that is the plan, and if you remember, I picked up these valve covers at the swap meet, and that's what they're for. These covers are going to be what the bulbs are going to be into. My buddy Mike powder coated these, and he did a freaking awesome job. Thank you, Mike. I hope you can see the quality and how well that came out. So those look super. So the plan is, you know, we've got these light sockets, and what we'll do is we'll mount them inside here, and got to get the right depth, obviously, because I'm not sure what kind of bulbs I want to use. Do I want to use one of these long ones? 2 long ones will fit just fine, or, you know, do I want to do a standard bulb? Not sure. Like I said, this project will obviously adapt and come up with ideas as we go through it, because I kind of got a plan in my head, but you know how projects go. Things kind of change and dictate the way you end up a final product. And I scored these nice little brass knobs. I was originally going to make some, but $1 a piece when he came and buy the stock for that. So the plan would be, they're going to go on top of that, so that makes a nice, awesome contrast there. You know, the brass and the black is kind of the look I'm going for, but we may have to do a little change of plans, because what I'm finding out is to find a hunk of brass to go in the center of this is extremely expensive. And unfortunately, this ring is like an odd size. Well, inside we're okay. Outside, not so. Because it's over 6 inches, and of course you can't get a 7-inch in diameter. I'd have to get an 8-inch in diameter, and that gets real pricey. So what I think I'm going to do is, I got this piece of sheet. It's thin gauge. It is looks like 22 gauge, and what we'll do is we'll use that for the bottom. And inside, I would like to obviously it's got to be a cavity, because we got to run the the power cord in, and we're going to put a switch. But I would still like, you know, some sort of brass here to look good and stay in the same brass and black theme. So, like I said, as we go through this, we'll see. I'm thinking about maybe a brass sheet, and then we can actually frame out the cavity, so to speak, with aluminum, and then the brass sheet could, you know, we could screw it on with some brass screws and make it look nice. And I picked up this brass tubing, polish it up, and that would be obviously the stand to go up to the valve cover, and then we've got to, you know, make some sort of mounting fixture that's going to go on the back of this to go onto the tube. So that is the plan. Hopefully this project will work out pretty good. Have some good footage of different processes, and then of course once we're done, we're going to have 2 killer desk lamps. So follow along, and we'll get to it. Well, I think the first order of operation is we're going to build the plugs that go in here. They're going to hold these nice, I don't know, you call them standoffs, I guess, kind of. The holes are all different sizes. I don't know if that light is washing it out here. Let me block it a little bit. But the largest is 485 thou, smallest is 469. And instead of just making one plug 4 times, obviously you'd fit loose at the larger sizes and fit right at the small size, because we'd have to make the smallest size. I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and we'll just custom make 4 to the right size of the hole so they fit nice and good. And I've got this piece of 3/4 brass, and I'll go ahead and get you guys over at the Inco, and I'll go ahead and get the 5C collet chuck in, and we'll make the plugs for the valve covers. So we are ready to rock and roll. Going to center drill it, and then I'm going to go ahead and drill the through hole for the retaining screw, and then we'll just slowly make our little plugs. So here we go. I had to swap out chucks, change to my smaller chuck, as it wouldn't hold this little 5/32 drill bit here. I have to keep clearing the chips, otherwise it's going to grab it. Only bad thing about it. Alright, we'll go with that for now. I won't go too deep and have it grab. We can just keep drilling as we make them. So I just took a skim pass and cleaned it up. And let's see what we're at here. See if I can get in here. $714, and we'll go down to 485. So we got 229 thousandths to go. So we can zero that in. We'll go. We gotta divide that by half. About 114. 114 thou. Should be it right there. And let's back her out once I make a cut. Just going to do it by hand here. We're going 180 on the x-axis going in, or should I say going across, actually, would be more correct. Alrighty. About 20 for 40 thou total. Actually, I'll probably take a lot more with this brass, but such a short run, I'm there before you know it. All right. Okay, I'm down to about my last pass. Let's see where we're at. It's like 508, and we want 485. That's 23. So about 11 and a half. We'll just do 12, and so not too bad. The DRO shows 10.8, so it's been staying pretty accurate. Let's see if we got her. A thou big. All right, let me just skim it real quick, and I'll bring you guys back, and what we'll do is we'll part this baby off, and we'll have one made. All right, we're good on our measurements there. Go ahead and break these edges. And now I need to part her off. So let me see if I can get in here. And this isn't crucial. I'm just gonna get about a quarter of an inch. Nah, I'm probably going to do an eighth of an inch. That's about all we need. Pull it out when I get the carbide. And I think we're about there. All right. Move her over. There you go. That's an eighth of an inch, 125. On the carriage, probably won't be able to part at that speed. Let me see here. Slow her down a little bit. Let's try A3. That's any better. Still fast, but we'll see if she'll handle it. Get that edge broke while I got her. Get back in there. All right. Ooh, she's a little bit warm. Hot potato, hot potato. Okay, there's our little plug we made. Let me get that Kajinga off of there, and we'll go test fit this in the valve cover. So this is number 2, but it's going to be number 1. Because hold on, I'm getting the carriage right here. Because the first one, the center section was too tall. It's easier just to make another one than trying to stick that little thing into in the collet. So the center section, instead of 180 thou tall, it's now just 100 thou. And this hopefully should take care of it. And let me polish it up just a smidgen while we got it in here. What do you think? Get that oxidation off. It doesn't have to be real fancy because it's just going to be on the underside of the lamp, but we got a chance to make it look nice. Let's go ahead and do it, right? All right, let's get back in this part in here. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit shaky, but I'm trying to go handheld, so show you what we got. So that came out nice. I can see it nice and flush now. And then the back side of it. This is what it looks like on the back side. And let me screw it together. Hold on. Perfect. Looking good there. Nice and snug, just perfect. There's the inside. So I've got to build 3 more. I won't bore you with that. I'll bring you guys back once we get them done. But I like it. So I've got the plugs all wrapped up. There's 2 of them, and the other one's back here. They came out just fine. I've got them all different sizes, so I'm trying to keep them together. Had to trim the brass screws a smidgen. Let me see if I can do this with 2 hands. I need 3 really. Hopefully I'm still in frame for you guys. Okay, there you go, she's coming together nicely. That's what she looks like. Sweet, I'll do the other 2. And I think next what I want to do is make a bracket to go on the back of these that the tube is going to go into. So so basically you're looking at, it would be mounted like this. Screws would go in here to mount to the valve cover itself, and obviously this hole is where the tube would go in. Love to make it out of brass. I don't have any brass block that size. I'll go online here in a little bit and see if I can find a chunk for a reasonable price. If not, then I've got plenty of aluminum, and we could do aluminum blocks, because that would be obviously cheaper. Wouldn't cost me anything because I've got the stock in stock. So anyways, hope you guys are starting to enjoy this and kind of see how it's coming together. Well guys, believe it or not, I got lucky and I was able to find a hunk of brass. The seller, he I guess has a bunch of drops or something, but I found he's got a 3/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch bar, and it's, believe it or not, 18 inches long. So for $24. So a swing, I mean, it's like 5 pounds of brass, you know. I mean, I figured I'd find, you know, a 6 or 7 inch piece for that kind of money. Now, he was the only seller that had anything reasonable. Everybody else was sky high or appropriately priced. I'm not sure. So I guess you know, we'll have to table making this mount until it comes in. So I guess we'll go ahead and attack the bottom. What I need is a slot in here for the power cord to go in, and obviously this is super hard. I've got my hardness files out, and this is a 55, and it makes a mark. It's just scratching it, not real deep. Now the 60 actually really does good, so you can see that. So it's probably somewhere in between the 55 and 60 range, so pretty hard. I don't think I have much luck running a carbide end mill. I'll probably just, you know, burn it up, and don't feel like burning up like a $60 half-inch diameter end mill. So I think what I'm going to do is a little unconventional fabricating, and just take the angle grinder and just grind a slot with that, and you know, it should work. It probably won't be super pretty, but we'll obviously be covering it up, and it'll work. So sometimes you gotta pick the process that works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that on both these ring gears. No need to show me grinding a slot, and once I do that, I'll bring you back, and we have to get our plan of attack of how we want to get a cover on this. If we drilled some holes and countersunk them, you know, that's going to be a pretty big countersink, and there's not going to be much holding it. So, you know, I don't know. I've been batting it back and forth if that's the best way to do it, or you know, come up with something else. You know, probably a good adhesive would work, because all it has to do is really sit on the bottom. So I don't know yet. Still kicking ideas around, but let me go ahead and get those slots ground, and at least we can get that checked off the list. Well, I didn't think it come out too bad. I just used the grinder, and there's a slot, and the cord fits in nicely, just like that. So easy breezy lemon squeezy, I guess. Not conventional, but I'd like to with an end mill, but that ain't happening. So getting to the bottom here, move you over. Or actually, so what I've done, I've got this piece of sheet. This is a little bit thicker than the piece I had. I'm thinking this is probably 18 gauge, maybe 16. And what I've got a circle drawn out, if you can see that, and I'm just going to buzz that circle out here. So hang on, get a little cutting action, I guess. Just going to use a skill saw with a metal blade for your viewing entertainment. And I got flex. So what I may need to do is brace it with a piece of wood or something, since she wants to flex so bad. So let me change my setup. Hold on. It's working pretty good if I keep it right here at the edge of the table. So and then I just move it around and rinse and repeat. So you guys get the idea. Get this clamp tightened. Well, that didn't work too bad as long as I kept it towards the edge of the table to keep everything stiff and rigid. I didn't have a piece of plywood to cut up, but I think it came out pretty good for freehanding it. I just gotta take it over to belt sander and clean a couple spots off, but I think we'll go with that. Well, the bottom plates are done. Came out pretty painless, so that is good. And you know, ideally I'd like to use some of these countersink screws to go in, but this is 3/8 24, so it's a fine thread. And normal hardware store doesn't really have these in fine. Obviously I could order them from McMaster Car. So I thought, alright, what else can we do? So I dug in my fine thread bolt bin, and I found these little babies here. I got 8 of them. I think they were leftovers from automatic transmissions, putting on like a flex plate to the torque converter. So this is what it looks like on the bottom. I think that'll work. Obviously, the way the hole pattern is, I can't do a 3-point, so I've got to do a 4-point. So on some surfaces you may have a tad bit of a rock. Not too pleased with that, but obviously you could, you know, run one bolt out a little bit and level that out like that. So what I think I'm going to do is go over to the lathe, since I still have the collet chuck in, and we'll just clean these bolt heads so they'll be nice and flat. Get rid of the indentions there that show that these are grade 8s. And then need to figure out, let me move a little bit, figure out the bolt hole pattern here where I can bolt these down. So I dug into all my transfer screws, and I don't have 3/8 24, but you know, 3/8 16 will start just a little bit, so I think that'll be fine. You know, we can just get her down, and then we'll put the plate down and ka-ching, and we'll have our holes. So let's move over to the lathe and skim these faces. So this is the last one, and then I've had a system going and it's worked pretty good. I've been getting them all within about a thou or so of each other. So let me show you what I got. So I'm coming in, and once I touch, Right there, that's my 0. And I'm moving in 5 thou. There you go. Locking the carriage. And just cleaning that face up. And let's see if we hit it. This should be about 231, I'm hoping. See how we did. 229 ain't too bad. Tad bit small. Oh, so yeah, right in there. Cool. That'll be perfect for this other set. Alrighty. Okay, so what I did is, you can see the transfer screws in there, and just put some silver Sharpie on it, and I don't know how the light's going to be. Let me see. You can see these holes, but there's one right there. Another one's right there, there, and there. So they transfer just fine. So let's go ahead and drill some holes. Alright, hope you can see that. I've already got 3 holes done. Just center drilled that one. I'm using one of the holes in my welding table here. And I'm just running the step drill through it. Makes it easy. Am I still in frame? Yeah, I think so. And of course, mark my step drill so I didn't make a bozo. And I think we're good. So we'll test fit all the holes. Sweet. Let's see if we got these lined up, because right now the holes are really snug. I may have to enlarge them if we're off a smidgen. Well, just kind of eyeballing it. I think this one's going to be a tad bit off. These two look good. That one looks like she'll work. So let's see what we got here. See if I was right. Yep, I think so. Yep, in order to get those in. So we're going to have to enlarge. This needs to come this way. This needs to come this way a little bit. What I'll probably do is just go and enlarge them all. That way make life easier. Hang on. Okay, let's see if that was enough. Now I got 3. Well, she wants to go. Let me see here. Yep, if we could do that. What's this one? This one needs to come right there. Yep. Right where I marked it. Not enough. Okay, got all the holes, I believe, where we want them. I've got washers for this, and I mic'd them, so all of them will be the same, or relatively the same, so that'll work. So now we have us a bottom. That sits pretty good, actually, right there. Wow, no rock. I like it. Okay, I need to rinse and repeat on the other one. So I've got you set up over at the lathe. I am just polishing the two columns, and hopefully you can see that. Just finished the first one. She looks banging, nice and shiny. So the outside diameter of these things are actually 20 millimeter. Since I ordered from China, they're metric, which is just a tad bit bigger than 3/4. So all I am doing is first gray Scotch-Brite to get it cleaned up, get the serious oxidation off. I'm just doing it open-handed. Don't want it to grab, that's for sure. And this way you don't want to wrap it around it. Alright, I'm going to do this for a little bit, and once I get satisfied with the finish from this, I'll bring you back and I'll show you part 2. Okay, finished up with the gray Scotch-Brite. Got the oxidation broken down, and now we're going to polish it up. This is some Autosol metal polish. Works really well. And a little dab will do you, so to speak. Get it spread all around, and then we're just going to rinse and repeat using disposable shop towels. Once I get a grungy spot, I just flip it over and go to another spot. Get a clean piece of towel. And I just continue on. And eventually this thing is going to be nice and shiny. And we are about there, guys. I'm not getting hardly anything on the cloth. So there she is, all polished up. A couple of bad spots or stained spots, or just I guess poor quality brass. But there she is, all shiny. Let's get them out and we'll get them back over the welding table. Well, we've got these all polished up, so I think the next order of operation is we'll need to make a couple standoffs to go inside here. One to support this column here, and then I need a couple coming off of here to hold the cover, or the plate, the top plate, I guess we call it. I was able to find some 1/8 inch thick brass sheets, so to speak. Pretty cheap, some 5x5s for about $8 a piece, so that'll work out perfect for the tops of these. It was really the best choice I could find versus trying to find a hunk of brass that is round with a 5-inch diameter. You know, even a 1-inch section so I could slice it to get top covers was just like crazy expensive. So you know, we'll get it knocked out using the alternative method. So I think we're going to go over to the lathe. These little standoffs here, you know, this is a nominal OD, doesn't really matter. I think the ID, we're going to drill holes and do 1/4 since I've got some brass screws that look nice. We'll use these. So maybe, I guess, I don't know, at least a 1/2 inch in diameter probably for the OD. And then something large and in charge for this piece here that's got to hold the brass column, since The brass is 20 mil, like 0.787. So we'll find something probably over an inch. And then we'll have to mill the bottom so the wire can come through. And we'll just run a couple tack welds on each side of the standoffs. That's all we'll need. So let's get over to the lathe and get turning. Alrighty, nothing fancy here. Got a piece of just 1018, half-inch diameter chucked up. Got to face it, drill it, tap it, part it, and do that 4 times. So I'll go ahead and knock out one on camera. A little bit of stick out, but do the DRO on because I'll need it for parting here in a second. Switch to a number 7. Go ahead and get the tap started. See, I got enough travel. Alrighty. And I'm just gonna hand tap it from here so we don't break nothing. Alrighty, got my Starrett 91B in, and we're about there for the first one. So, as John Mills would say, the only purpose in life for these little taps is to break off at the most opportune time. So that's why I'm not going to power tap these little ones. It ain't worth it. Alright. And now let's go ahead and get measured off 3/4 of an inch so we can get this thing parted. None of this is super critical, but that looked like a decent dimension to do. So take that and need to speed her up a little bit. Got her in low gear now. Let's do about A1. And come over 750. There you go. And there's one. I gotta rinse and repeat and make 3 more, and I'll bring you guys back. Figured I'd show you the back of the lathe. I'm using my spindle spider to support the long piece of stock. So if you're new to machining, this is a fun, easy project to do. This is on the OD of the spindle that's sticking out, and then you got the 4 screws that are supporting the stock. So add to the rigidity, and so it doesn't whip around on you. So I got the bore end that I'm going to use to hold the brass columns that we just polished up. Just taking a skim pass just to clean out the OD. And same deal, these are going to be 3/4 of an inch tall. Got to drill it and bore it. It's a metric hole, so 0.787. I was going to take it out to 0.788. That would give me just a little bit of room. Nice little slip fit, and that way there'll be enough room for the Loctite. I'm just drilling the center out now. This stock is some mystery metal I got from the scrap yard. I'm assuming it's some sort of 1018 variant. It's going to be gummy. You can see the surface finish wasn't really super. So that's a telltale sign. .49/64. Get the chips to evacuate. We're almost there. I got a mark on the drill bit there. Alrighty. So I drilled it out and then took a skim pass, and we're at, if I can get her in, air pressure there, 777 gauge pin. Give it back. We need to take 11 thou off. See if we can dial in 5.5 and hit our number. Well, we are here finally. I had to make a skim pass because I was at 786. So took a thou off, and this is a 788 gauge pin, and she slides in nicely. So if you can hear that, let me get down and, I mean, obviously if this is a tad bit bigger it'd be fine. So let's see how the piece of brass fits. Let me get the carriage out of the way since this thing is long. Oh yeah, nice. Just slides in there good. Excellent. Plenty of room for Loctite, and this thing wasn't totally perfectly round, as you can see. Well, this has got a burr on it, but this side. All right, I am pleased. I'm gonna go ahead and part these two off, break the edges, and call it a night for tonight, and we'll come back tomorrow, and then we have to mill a slot, because that is what's going to give us room to run the electrical cord up and under. So thanks for hanging in there with me, guys.
Use my new deburring tool. Works like a charm.
Well, here are our little supports. Came out just fine for what we need it for. And they fit nicely. So just enough room. So they'll be like this. Loctite it in. You know, it'll be in here, but obviously it's going to go directly over the electrical cord. But you'll sit right there, just underneath, just perfect. So like I said, what we need to do now is take it over to the mill. We'll mill a slot here and here, and that way it can sit directly over the wire. That way I've got the wire at 12 o'clock coming out of the back of the lamp. That's the way I want it. And then obviously the column's shooting straight up. So let's get over to the mill, but I think this might be a good place to end this video for part one, since we still got a bunch more stuff to do, and I don't want this video running too long for just a single video. So hey, thanks for following along with the project, and thanks to all my new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, comments, and we'll see you on part two.